Yeah, I believe we're going to go to the interview with Ras G. And due to the fact no one else is around, hopefully this is a bit more orally appealing.
And this is all going to be a time lapse. We're not going to actually listen to it.
We're actually kicking to a pre-recorded file.
We're going to cut this out and come right back and act like 30 minutes just went by.
Ladies and gentlemen, AOA versus Ras G, the interview. Peace.
Yeah, we'll start recording in like 4 seconds.
Elburn.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is AOA. You tuned into Melbourne as usual. I got a very special guest in for an interview. We're just chilling with him in his hotel room at the moment. Ladies and gentlemen, Ras G, all the way up from Los Angeles.
What up, world?
How you going, Ras?
All is well.
It's good to have you out here, man. Your show last night absolutely killed it. Sorry I missed your show this evening, but I'm sure you had a good time as well.
Oh yeah, man. Usual antics, enlightenment, and next nothing.
So,
yeah.
This is my second interview, so I'm just going to throw you into the deep end here. All right. You've been sentenced to the death penalty.
You can't sentence me to the death penalty because I'm based on life.
Okay, let's.
Can't kill me.
Damn, he's got me already. I'm pinned. All right, let's
move on.
Okay, it's your last day on Earth as a human form before you pass on. What is your final meal in human form before you leave this planet? What would you like to be your final meal before you transcend into a being of pure light and infinity?
Water.
Dope. Minimalism. Alright. So how'd you get started with this whole beat making game you're in now, and what was it that made you get into making beats?
Well, I've always been into instrumental music, jazz, hip-hop, especially, hip-hop naturally, but I always really was about the beats, producers from a young age.
Yeah.
That was always my favorite shit, more than the MCs. I never really had a favorite rapper, I did love, Nas, all them cats and shit, but it was really about the producers to me, Pete Rock, Marley Marl, Lawrence Professor, Primo,
Wood.
Whole Digging the Craze, Diamond, Lord Finesse, I can go on forever.
Yeah. And a lot of those producers, what aspect do you think drew it to you more? The loops or the drums behind those loops that were banging at the time? Everything
and nothing, man. In fact, everybody was what they were doing. It was just I would hear the shit and I couldn't understand what was going on, but I loved what I was saying. I wanted to get into it. That's what got me into the whole idea of wanting to make some beats and shit.
Dope. Now going back a bit before that, when you were growing up in your family's house, what sort of music was getting played? What sort of influences your parents putting on you?
My grandfather, he was hella into Blue Note shit, Blue Note jazz shit. My grandma, she was really into soul shit. My mom was really into soul. She was hella into Sade, Anita Baker, that shit. Pops was hella into funk shit, Bootsy, Parliament Funkadelic, Delphonics, that kind of shit. My uncle, he listened to Donald Byrd and shit like that, Blackbirds. That's why I would get that from my uncles.
What?
My other uncles, he would bump hell other shit. My cousins, they got me into hip hop. Yo, you can check out this K-Day shit.
Yeah. Was this stuff coming to final? Were you seeing the turntable in the house and thinking in the back of your head, this is spinning off a record?
Yeah, turntable in the house, so cassettes, so just music all around, man. Cats in the streets driving by with loud ass systems, knocking shit, you know what I'm saying?
Word. So can you remember back to the first record or CD or tape that you copped? Your pocket money or whatever?
Yeah, man, I ask a lot of people that same question all the time. First thing I bought that I remember buying with my own money was fucking MC Hammer's tape.
Damn.
First MC Hammer tape.
You can't touch this album. I know it was Please Hammer, Don't Hurt Him.
Yeah.
Word.
But what got me was it was the Turn This Mother Out. The breakdown on Turn This Mother Out. And that shit is the first time Apache fucked me up.
Right.
Apache
Incredible bongo band. For those that don't know Apache,
but at that point in life, I don't know what that shit is.
No, you just hear the break.
So I'm watching the video, and he busting, and then it just cut to that break, and I'm just that fucking break is ill. I'm not tripping off what he's saying. I see him dancing and shit, but it's when that shit broke down into that Apache beat, I was fucked up. I bought an MC Hammer too.
I relate to that, man. Young MC Buster Moves, that Barbara Streisand breakdown.
No, you mean
Streisand laid over another break, but part of it's Barbara Streisand, the other one's that, like, I think it's Cool in the Gang. I'm not even sure. Fatback Band. Yeah. That breakdown, to me, like when I heard Buster Move, I wasn't really caring about Young MC or the rhymes or the clip, but when that breakdown happened with the vocals,
that's what happened to me.
So doing a bit of research for this interview and shit. A lot of people seem to.
Yes, man.
Peace out to Mr. DNA who's in the place tonight. One thing I see, like, I did a bit of research on the net, like, before this. One thing that keeps coming up, and I haven't really seen explored with you in an interview, is, I don't know if they're just copying from your bio or whatever, but there's a lot of this mention of healing bass tones and the idea of using bass tones as a therapeutic device. Like, would you care to go into, like, is that something you do actually do actively?
Nah, I just like the vibration and the frequency of bass.
Right.
It's a moving frequency. I don't know, maybe you could attribute it to, like, the Dogons, you know?
The Dogons.
Yeah, you know the Dogons? They can see Dogons in Africa.
Yeah.
They can see certain things, you know. They say we come from the stars. And they knew the constellation. They knew all these things before we had telescopes. So they're in tune with a certain thing.
Yeah.
People who have these certain technical telescopes and all these things, they come ask, like, how do y'all know about this shit? And they like, oh, we just
knew.
Thing. We know that. So that's why maybe I'll attribute it to that. I'm just like that.
You might hit that key on the microchord and it resonates in a certain way and you're like, that's the jam.
Feedback on the record.
Speaking of records, for those that don't know, Ras was in a 30-minute DVD. Dublab, I believe, put it out.
Yeah.
Dublab.com. Shout outs to Dublab.com.
What up, Frosty?
Nobody, Daedalus, J-Rock, and Ras here all were sent out to Los Angeles thrift stores. Was it a thrift store chain that you guys went to?
Yeah, chain called Out of the Closet.
Out of the Closet, right. We're giving like $5 each.
Halls.
No hummus.
Nope. Extra hummus, no homo.
Yeah, you were giving $5 each, right? Was that the deal? That's Australian $5. That can probably get a bit more records than when you can get home.
It's a $5. A $5's a $5.
A $5's a $5. So yeah, these four quite talented beat makers were sent out to the Out of the Closet thrift store. $5, pick up whatever records they can in the bargain bin. You know, put together a beat. What was the time frame you had to put that beat together for the DVD? 24 hours or something?
I don't remember. It was like maybe like 2 weeks or some shit. Yeah, what happened was they took us to get the records, but we couldn't take the records home right then and there.
But that were your picks individually?
Yeah, then they came to our house and they brought the records and we got to hear them for the first time.
Okay, so did they hold onto the records for the cover art?
No, they held the records. Like, check it out. We went and bought the records, then they held the records, then they came to our studios and filmed us and brought the records and recorded us hearing the records for the first time. And that's when they meet us with the records. And then we hook back up and that's where we all meet.
So like 2 weeks after you got the samples, you have that much time to play with it. So that studio we see in the video, are you still using that now? A little garage at the back of the spot? Or?
Nah, man, that's the old Lions Den, man. That's pre-Space Base. That was at my mom's little spot.
Yeah, some ghetto shit.
That's how I keep it, you know what I'm saying? But yeah, I moved from there twice, man. I moved from there to Space Base 2031. Now I'm at Space Base 2912.
Word. So you're upgrading.
Yeah, it's getting better. My spaceship is getting tighter, son.
on the subject of records and dollar bin thrift store finds and stuff, would you care to share with us that golden moment in your life, like your greatest like find as a digger, where you've walked into somewhere, not necessarily the best record in the collection, but the record where you've walked in there and gone, this is how much? This is this thing? You might not even know what that record is, but you know, like find you found that it just blew your mind, like when you got home and dropped the needle on that and was like, I paid this for that, and like you felt like you found something no one else had found before, that gem, if you know what I mean. Yeah.
This one record I got, man. It's like a free rhythm, educational, like African record or something, man. I got this shit for like $1. I ain't never seen it on nothing, nowhere. I've Googled it. I've done all that shit. Got that shit for $1. I don't know. I've messed with it. It's crazy. It's like some from another world or something.
Out of your releases, which would you say would be the one you're most proud of?
I'm proud of all of them because they all mark the progression of what I'm trying to do musically.
Yep.
They all make a certain mark. They all like a different story. Like I said, a different progression. They show where I'm going. They show me getting better. That's what I like with the releases.
You think you're on point?
It will always be like that because you progress in your mind
and grow.
Yeah, but you gotta lead it as a mark of time to show that you're growing. Just like as a child, when kids are growing and the moms are making marks on the wall and shit, and you go back and you look at that and you was like, damn, you look at yourself. It's going back and looking at your mark, your work. You know, I said bust that creative nut and let it go. Yeah, it's a mark of your time. It's like as a buyer, I buy records, so I'm buying somebody's history. I'm buying them getting better. I'm getting crazy. I'm buying them doing different things, experimenting with different things.
It's also dope to me because, you hear a lot of artists like, only record they care about is the one that's just coming out. They're like, that's the best one for me because, that's where I want to be the whole time.
Somebody learn.
Yeah, but by the next record they say the same thing. And it's like, why you dissing the record you just made? You love that.
All your kids. It's like, love all your kids.
Exactly.
Bob Marley. All these kids adult, right? Like, yeah, you made a mark for everyone. They all the same, but they all different.
Funny mention Bob Marley. Kind of leads me to my next question. Bob Marley, you may or may not know, was given a pardon in Japan for smoking weed in his hotel room as an artist. My man Tiger Moth, shout out to Tiger Moth from Melbourne, he said he caught a show with you in, must have been like Shibuya or Shinjuku.
Yeah.
You were blazing on stage?
Oh, nah, man. I had like a little bit of weed in Japan when I was with the Low End Theory posse. Actually, I was smoking the beanie. I was keeping it old school. I was smoking the young beanie, and like I said, weed out there, man.
Yeah.
It's so expensive, man. Yeah, exactly. So you don't want that shit.
I thought you might have just been like, I'm gonna stick to my guns, fuck this shit. If I want to smoke weed, I'll smoke weed. So
I wish.
For those that don't know, Ras G's on the beaties in his downtime.
Nah, I haven't smoked the beaties since then. I brought beaties just for that trip. Next time I go there, I know I ain't gonna be smoking the beaties. I'm just gonna have some chew sticks and beaties.
For you, with your working process, how much time do you spend like putting that initial the first loop or the first idea of a track together and getting the grit that you want in it, like that sound?
I don't know, because I don't know what I'm doing.
You're just tuning in or tuning out.
I'm just there. I'm in and I'm out. I'm both. I'm sitting there, I'm hanging out. It's no different than somebody turning on one of these new video games and you're going through boards, man.
Yeah. So how often do you reckon you clear a level?
It depends on what kind of level.
The beat gets flipped.
Depending on the game. Like if it's like Mario Brothers or one of these new games where you like, okay, first level, I've played this already. Let me go through this real fast.
Swish.
Beat number 1, okay. Then you get to the next one. All right, yeah, this was cool. I know this one. I'll watch out for that. Bam. Third level. It depends on where I'm at and how I'm feeling in the day. There's no particular time limit. I don't like the time limits on my creativity.
Right.
Just let it all happen. I'm translating my feeling. This is only me there when I'm sitting there making it. It ain't nobody else. I'm not making it for anybody else but myself.
So for you, does it start where you pick up a record, put it on a field recording, start from that? Anything?
I can have a movie going, I can have field recording, just be like I throw on records and clean up my spot, or I'm reading books and I'm like, samples already on, I'll just hit record.
This is dope because you can hear that variety in your beats. You got a lot of style, like a lot of chambers of style there. Like there's a sort of house Mad Lib as well.
That's how it should be.
Whereas you hear a lot of cats like, I start with the drums, homie. I always start with the drums.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, it's not always like that.
That's what I'm saying. It's a difference because a lot of people are influenced by other people, so they feel like that's the idea and the way to go about things. When I say they didn't really like that.
You're bringing an openness to hip hop, I think, that it's not traditionally used to. There's some rigid sort of parameters, like Golden Age style, that's DJ Premier style.
That's just somebody else's formula. That's that Al Chemist. That's that Al Chemist. That's just how you do his thing.
What you're bringing to the table that's not really something that came up in the '90s. That openness to like new sounds, new sources of inspiration, new ideas of creativity.
I said they were. I said Bambaataa was the first start of all that. Man. because he was pulling beats from all that shit. It didn't matter what kind of record it was.
Well, Kraftwerk and all that was in the mix as well, but I think that got lost a bit when the boom bap, like the golden age era you hear about.
I don't think so.
It was more based on the funk, soul loops.
I don't think so. I think
skull snaps.
I mean, as far as maybe drums, but I mean, I think the sound plateau for sound was endless, because I still hear, you know, P Rock was using crazy Moog records and synth shit back then, you know what I'm saying?
But the way it was flipped to me always seemed to, like, you know, you can go from Buck Wild to like Diamond D, The Large Professor, The Lord Finesse, like all those cats. There's a certain 4-bar boom bap loop, like even though they're flipping weird records and stuff, there was kind of a formula going on in those days in beats. I'm not dissing that, like that's a big inspiration to me, but I think where you're heading to is like LP was one of the first producers I sort of heard bringing in like a 16-bar loop with a chord progression that sort of goes somewhere else and gets a bit modal, a bit more jazzy, like a minor key halfway through, then comes back, and when it gets back to the one, you're like, oh, that's more like a piece as opposed to like, you know, a low-pass filtered bass loop and a drum snap.
See, I see it all as it, because at that certain point in time, that was complex. It takes somebody
based on the equipment.
Yeah, it takes somebody to step out to make it out of the norm, you know, to just to show that that's a standard now to something else. It's no different than, like I said, it's just like jazz, man.
Yeah, well, like we were talking about earlier as well, I think some people like, you know, Prefuse, Darbury, you know, of other cats like doing stuff before that that were open more to jazz, free jazz, experimental electronica, like different thing, music concrete, like all that sort of stuff. Yeah,
it's all one thing. It's the same thing.
It's at a point where, you know, there's no rules to the game. You can flip up anything. Anything's fair game. You know, if you want to make a beat in 6/8 time that's 134 BPM and you can make that shit rock, do that.
There's only one law.
You know, like
the continuing law is you gotta be dope.
You know, it's gotta be from within.
You can be inspired by everything, but you gotta know that it all starts with you. Too.
And as soon as you start trying to sound like whatever it is you're liking, you're already 10 minutes late.
You set your deadline.
Back to some outer space shit. If you could terraform any planet, not just within our solar system, where would you choose to settle down and live?
I'm still looking.
Still looking.
Nomadic.
Astral nomad. Shouts to DNA. One thing that interests me is like being stuck over here in Australia. We're hearing about all this stuff, like, you know, the internet moves fast and we hear about what's going on in LA and the beat scene over there, but you're living there, you're breathing it, I assume, and still hooking up with your fam and shit like that over there. So who's coming up in LA now that people outside of the scene over here might not know about?
Oh man, I mean, cats are bringing that shit, man. A lot of cats are moving to LA. Knowledge is moving to LA. Mind Design. John Wayne, he's a motherfucker. He's crazy. Young dude bringing shit now. It's a lot of kids, man. I mean, like I say, everybody got something to make, man. So everybody's striving to make it. But like I said, to me, I see everybody doing it. I can see the progression in everybody. Just like how I said about my own career.
Yeah.
I got to go back and look at my shit and be like, damn, I started off like on the standard. Now I see myself freeing up to looking at what I'm doing now. You know I can see that in other people. Just like my friends, you know, just like Sam I Am, like Flying Lotus, Monopoly, you know what I'm saying?
Monopoly.
Nobody. Yeah, not Monopoly is the monster. Yeah, but all them cats. Like I said, we all like-minded, and I like to see the progression in everybody. And I think that's what makes everybody as good as they are and as prominent as they are, is that they get better. They ain't just like, okay, I'm just doing this. It's like you don't know what to, you have no expectation on what these people can make. And that's how it should be.
Now the shit's blown up a little bit for like all these names you're mentioning towards the end there, you know, Monopoly, Flying Lotus, you know, all these cats. Things are blown up a little bit for you guys. Are you guys still able to keep in contact as much as you were? Like now you're all touring and shit, like you still get to play beats to each other?
Yeah, everybody sees each other. We all hang out and shit. We see each other whenever we can. Everybody's busy, man. Everybody has their own planet.
Yeah.
But we all come off our planet to, you know, come and meet and greet and chill and smoke weed, let them in, and, you know, and support each other and so forth. Like I said, we all out there. Everybody, like I said, it's like X-Men, man. It's everybody got their own power. Everybody's in different parts of the world.
Right.
Everybody links up for this right leadership to do it for this music, for this art.
Yeah. Like you got Low End Theory, you cats meet each other as well. Like,
you know what? Can't forget Jeremiah J.
Jeremiah J?
That dude's a nut, man.
Alright.
Well,
there's some names for us.
Even though it's like it's all like affiliated people naturally. But like I said, they affiliated with this shit because they really are doing this shit. Like damn, like that shit is different and it's creative as fuck. Homie Docam, DBI, it's endless, man.
Cats like DBI, so he's coming out soon for the first time.
Yeah,
like Machines Hate Me to a lot of people out here was, his first record. They might not know how long he's been in 12 beat battles he's won. He's got a long history of flipping samples. But over here, even with the internet, the way things get filtered down to us, like for a lot of kids last night, Ras G, that's probably the first they heard your stuff based on someone else's opinion.
I know, but like I said, it's just a market. He's getting his due. He coming out here because he's been progressing.
Yeah.
He like he's stuck doing one thing.
Yeah, a really fucking awesome, interesting thing that's happened with you recently. Like, how did this split with Sun Ra come about in All City?
I just birthed it, man. I birthed the thought. The thought was just, I talked to the guy. I'm like, why don't we do this? He said, yeah, why don't we do it?
So it originally came out on Saturn Records. There was a Sun Ra recording from 1971. That's right. Yep. It's just him solo, like on 3 different keyboards or something like that. Yeah, and that was previously released in like 72 or something.
Yeah, on the Saturn. I got the Saturn. I do have the record.
You do have the record?
Yeah.
So, was it like obviously Sun Ra was a huge influence on you? Like, I think anyone tuned into what Ras is doing can see the Sun Ra influence definitely. For you, was this like a pretty exciting moment in your life to be like, you're on the A side of that record, right?
Yeah.
So you got Sun Ra on your B side there, like your homie, your inspiration, like
song teacher, man. Like you say, he ain't even a man; he's a being. Man.
He's a pure being of like space and light. So was it All City or yourself that were instrumental in getting the licensing for that recording?
It was All City and Art Yard Records. Art Yard Records, they do a lot of reissues of L Saturns.
And ESP disc and that sort of stuff.
No, not even ESP.
I didn't touch that.
Not so much the ESP, the L Saturns, which are the original Sun Ra releases that he put out himself on his own independent label. He gets the rights to those from the band, Marshall Allen and so forth, and he represents them, puts them on CD and so forth, so to make sure they get paid for it.
Yep.
So he got the clearance. My man Olin from All City linked with Art Yard. Got the license. Got it together and hit me up, and I did it.
Yeah. And is that sort of a one-off thing for All City, or have they mentioned doing more collaborations like that in future with artists?
It's a few of them. They got a few more coming out. I can't really give out the name because I'm not really sure who. I haven't heard the output yet. So
Yeah.
Really speaking. But
And
I hear there's definitely more that's coming.
So if you're A side for that, I haven't copped that release yet, so I haven't heard your A side of that record. But is that incorporating samples of the Sun Ra piece, or is it something you did?
I didn't. Actually, people keep saying I did a remix of it. I'm like, I didn't even do a remix of that song.
So it was a track you already had sitting there before you knew about the record,
or you made an original piece for myself.
So you knew what you were making it for.
Yeah.
Yeah, dope.
I ain't I can't be Ra, man.
I
wanted to do something in tribute to Ra, and I wanted to do it like Ra would do it if he was on the MPC and on the SP404, and he just chopped up the shit how he would do it, and I did it how he would do it.
So you blazed and channeled Ra.
Yeah, man. Just into the same car, man.
So, if you had to step to the Interstellar Employment Agency at Outer Spaceways Incorporated, do you think you could pass the rigorous job examination process that Ras seems to have there? What could you bring to the table at the Outer Spaceways Incorporated?
Man, I don't know. That's a good question. That's a real good question. Yeah,
he does not let many people get jobs there.
I mean, yeah, it's all based on discipline and precision. I think I got the discipline. I don't know if I got the precision, but I'm open. I actually do the same agency.
You're running a sub-branch.
Yeah, I got my own thing.
Word. This last question comes out from DNA. He was pretty interested to know how your views on Rastafarian culture take a role in your life. in either contrast or connection to your views on space travel, the nature of the galaxy, and possible alien life forms?
It's all connected.
It's all connected for you?
Yeah, it's all connected.
Like dendrites?
Yeah, it's all connected. It's all connected. It's all one melanin thing.
Word.
It's one, I'll leave it at this. It's all one big melanin party. And once you get to know it, you'll find out in your time.
Ras G, it's been an absolute pleasure talking to you, man. Thank you very much for your thoughts and feelings today.
Respect, yeah.
Respect back your way. Peace out. This has been Melbourne. Thanks for tuning in. Ras G, LA, Brain Feeder, what up?